Okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new a new community workshop from CKAB Club. I'm so happy to be here with you, with the community, talking about a great tool. I think it's a very favorite tool inside our community, and with a very special guest. Today, we will be exploring, learning, and talking about ZODL. Okay. Yeah, I bring a facilitator that is in the mood. Neal is part of the ZODL team, and yeah, today we will be talking about this wallet, ZODL wallet. Welcome, Neal. Thanks for accept our invitation to this community workshops. And yeah, community and me especially, I'm so excited about to learn a lot of things and tricks about ZODL. Welcome.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Roosevelt. It's a pleasure. I'm just really excited to just walk through our wallet. We strive to be extremely simple, the most approachable Zcash wallet out there for anyone. But there are elements of that that are new to people, especially anyone that's new to crypto. So I do want this to be both for people who are obviously already in the Zcash ecosystem and say have questions about Ironwood support in ZODL, and also for those who are just installing our wallet for the first time. So Roosevelt, as you mentioned, I'm Neal. I'm with the Zcash Open Development Lab. I've been in the community for a while, and I was really happy to join the team as the supported community manager for our wallet. And so if ZODL is new to you, if Zcash is new to you, please do feel free. I'm going to share my screen here just so you can see our homepage. Please go to ZODL.com, and at ZODL.com, you can very easily click on the download link right here and grab ZODL from any app store. We also are on F-Droid. We have our own F-Droid repo now. So if you're privacy conscious and maybe you're running Graphene OS and you want to run ZODL, which is already a private wallet on your private phone, we have options for that too. Also, please do check out our blog. We have some very important articles recently about Ironwood, especially ones that give you the implications of what Ironwood means for ZODL users. We have a support guide, which I'll show you here in a moment. And we also have very informational articles on Ironwood and the evolution of Zcash and where we're going. So if you don't already, please do follow us on X. There's a link down here to ZODL app. We are also on the Zcash Global Discord. So we have a couple of ZODL channels there, including for ZODL support. And on that note, too, if you're looking for answers to questions on just getting started or the details, say, of our Ironwood migration, go to support.zodl.com. And if ever you have a question and want to reach out to me directly, just email support@zodl.com. There's a feedback form in our app as well that I'll show you that goes directly to me as well. So yeah, let me just jump in. Roosevelt, if you had any questions or things you want to make sure we cover, I can jump into Ironwood real quick to get that. I'm sure there's a lot of questions on it.
Yeah. Before you go to future or the main menu on ZODL, Neal, I think the main question or doubts maybe people have is about Ironwood. Some questions or comments in YouTube are open. Okay, if you have some question, please put it there. But I really want to ask to start. What about this migration with this new version 3.8.0 is totally ready? There is, I don't know, there is so many issues, so many reports with the community about using the migration. If you want to talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. There are a lot of questions for it, but taking into consideration the network upgrade that happened last month, everything is running much more smoothly because it really seems that our communication went out to a lot of users last month. It took a lot of people by surprise. Ironwood, the community has been looking forward to and getting ready. And even though we had maybe about a day before between the release of an Ironwood compatible version of ZODL and the actual Ironwood upgrade, it really does seem like a lot of people have just very stay tuned, upgraded because they're excited about Ironwood. And so report-wise, I'm not getting too many people that are taken by surprise by, say, being on an old version and maybe not working. Well, definitely wouldn't work if you're on an older version than 3.8.0, you will get an error message. And so certainly we want everyone to be on the latest version so that you can open your wallet, it syncs, it's compatible with the latest network. And I can get into the details here. I want to share. We do have a section on the support desk for Ironwood. So the primary article that I'd recommend is the first one on here, Ironwood steps for ZODL users. So I know it's a long article. We tried to keep it short. There's a lot of information there. There's things that are critical to know because so this has happened a few times, right? In Zcash's history, you have upgrades from one shielded pool to the next. And as part of the turnstile method, a feature that was introduced in 2018, values that cross between pools are revealed. And that is a selling point of Zcash in that within these privacy pools, we have assurances, we have cryptographic assurances, zero knowledge proofs that there should not be, the ability to spend more Zcash than should be in these pools. But we can't really look inside those pools, right? So one thing that we can do to ensure that the 21 million cap of Zcash is respected is to have a turnstile so that we can audit the Zcash that goes between each pool when, say, there's an upgrade or just in general as Zcash is running, because Sapling is still around, Orchard is now closed, but Ironwood is there, and of course there's the transparent pool. So it is really important to know what's going to happen if you spend money right now in Zcash, in ZODL, or any other Zcash wallet, because this is a property of Zcash as a whole, that if you have funds in Orchard, and you spend those, that amount is going to be revealed. Now, your address and the recipient's address, shielded addresses, never touch the blockchain. So you have privacy with that regard. But if you're sending transactions between these pools that might have a pattern to them, right? So non-standard amounts, then that can be identifiable. And there's another aspect of this too, in that because all these wallets talk to lightwallet servers, that is a server that you're trusting with a certain set of information, particularly your IP address.
A very common question. Even Suko put as suggestions or tips to make the migration, and one of that tips was to use a VPN. Okay, in the community, people are asking, is mandatory to use a VPN for the migration? What is your opinion or your suggestion in this case?
So nothing is mandatory, right? But we also don't want you making missteps with your privacy, right? So our very strong recommendation is to enable Tor. And in ZODL, and as I'll show here in a bit, you can very easily enable Tor. And so something that is available to the lightwallet servers that your wallet is connecting to in order to sync and see your transactions and submit transactions is your IP address. If you're not using Tor, certainly if you're not using a VPN, and there are bad VPNs out there, there are much more trustworthy ones. NIM is really great. They support Zcash. They were offering free months for Zcash to Zcash users. And they have a mixnet that is as strong as Tor, if not stronger than Tor in terms of privacy. So really, one thing we want to underscore is that there's no urgency here, right? So if you're not comfortable with something, or you're not sure of your privacy, or certainly if you want to wait for migration features that we will be shipping hopefully next week with 3.9. So look out for 3.9. Those migration features we've been working very hard on to ensure that there are no privacy gaps in that. And just to highlight, we do have an article on here about those features. And you can see here a preview of it and how it works, and we describe. So you do have the option of, say, sending your entire balance in a single transaction, but we wouldn't recommend that either, all right? Because that reveals a very identifying amount. What we would recommend is waiting, if you can, to using our migration features, which will split up your batches, your balance into batches of very standardized amounts over variable time intervals. So it will take maybe over a day, depending on your balance, how many transactions that needs to be. And this migration feature also applies to Keystone users. So do check out our support portal for details on that, and understand what you would need to do. You can self-migrate, certainly, but you would want to vary your timing. You would also want to use standardized amounts, say like 0.01 ZEC, 0.1 ZEC, 1 ZEC, very standard amounts like that. And so actually, let me share an instance of ZODL. Here we go. One nice feature that shipped with this is the ability to view your breakdown over pools. So just let me know if that's in focus or not. But
it's not focused totally
okay.
right now.
There we go. All right. Perfect.
Great.
So if you just tap on your balance at the top, you can see your total balance and then break down over pools. And so this is a testing wallet. I've been moving things around in a non-standard fashion. I personally am waiting for the migration feature. I see no reason to jump into Ironwood, but I'm glad for people that are doing that, because it's great to see the numbers of Zcash that is being secured by a formerly verified pool, right? And you get that assurance today. If you were to move to Ironwood, it doesn't matter how fast other people migrate to Orchard. So this is just one of the, I would say, misconceptions. I've certainly had people asking, when is the migration going to be complete, right? It will never be complete. I mean, at no point will 100% of Orchard funds be in Ironwood. People have lost their keys. There's going to be dust Zcash that's left around. Our devs are leaving testing amounts in Orchard, right? We got to be able to test certain things going forward. And if you look at Sapling still, even Sprout, these old pools, there's still funds in there. So really what people are asking with that is, how do I attain assurance that my Zcash isn't being devalued by there having been inflation? And the question for that is not, when is the migration going to be complete? The question is, what is the turnstile? So the turnstile is what enforces that 21 million cap across the pools. And if you want to enjoy and have the benefits of formally verified, audited pools against any undetectable inflation bugs, you can jump into ZODL today, into Ironwood through ZODL today. So I hope that clears up a lot of questions on Ironwood. Again, check out the support articles; they're very detailed.
Great.
But I'm happy to kind of jump into first-time user exploration of ZODL.
In my opinion, I think I'm not an advanced user. I think a middle user. Migration is not difficult. I think people need to be patient. It's not difficult. People will not lost their money. Is great that you mentioned, Neil, that ZODL team have a different channels to support on Discord, on the site, on X, on Twitter too. I think people need to be easy and relaxed because their money is safe. Thanks,
Yeah,
thanks for this very clear resume. It's great.
yeah, that's something to underscore. Your funds are safe. Even if you don't update your ZODL app right
Hmm.
now, just update it when you want to use it, right?
Yeah.
Your funds are under your control still. So yeah, let me switch back. I'll show you. So that's a working ZODL instance that we'll jump into. But this is let's just say you downloaded ZODL first thing. You have two options here. You can restore an existing wallet, or you can, of course, jump into a new one. And if you have a existing seed with another wallet, you can import that. It just requires 24-word seeds because that's um, that's a standard recommendation in Zcash because it provides more entropy, more security for your keys. So it just needs to be a 24-word phrase, and you can import other wallets in here. I'm going to tap create a new wallet, and you can see it just immediately jumps into a fresh wallet. I'm sure a lot of people here have used other crypto wallets before. It's frustrating when, let's say you're at a conference or at a meetup or something, and you want to get someone using the wallet you believe in, or they're not even a crypto user, and they install the wallet, and the first thing they get is, oh, you have to write down these seed words, right? And you're in public, and you don't want to, expose your C words in public, much less do people have pen and paper right there. So, um, we were obviously thinking about that when we designed what was Zashi, now is ZODL, that you want to get started right away. So you are immediately in a new wallet in which you can receive Zcash. You can swap other coins for Zcash, and we'll show that as well. But as soon as you do receive coins in here, you will receive a notification up here at top, really instructing you to back up those seed words. And that is critical because without that, let's say you lose your phone, you accidentally uninstall the app. Any number of things can happen in life, but if you don't have those 24 words written in precise order and sequence, then you're not going to be able to reclaim your funds. ZODL can't get that back for you. No one else can get that back for you. That's part of being your own bank is some responsibility there. But as long as you have that in a secure location, and there are options for that too. I know Crypto Steel is a company that's been in the business for a long time of making metal backups, very, very secure backups that are, I think, fire safe. You can put it in steel. It's water corrosion. Put it in a safe. Put it in your safe deposit box at a bank, and there you go. You have a much more secure backup than maybe a piece of paper that's going to get lost. So definitely consider how you're backing up those words. Just to show you where to access that with or without a prompt, because it's important to maybe sometimes check, like, do I really have this recorded correctly? So tap on the three dot menu in the upper right, tap on more. This is the settings menu. And in advanced settings here at the top, you see the ZODL recovery phrase. Those are the 24 words. This is a fresh wallet. I'm not going to put funds in here, so I would never recommend anyone do this live on YouTube. You can, and this is definitely not my PIN number. I changed that. But yeah, obviously, never show anyone this. Please do not take screenshots of this. If you have a screenshot on your phone, a lot of apps have access to that. You really do not want a random app that you downloaded to have access to your seed phrase through a screenshot that you made on your phone. So please only write this down on paper. And also, what's somewhat important down here, it's not a requirement, but it is your wallet birthday height. So if you imported this wallet into another instance of ZODL or any other wallet, you will need to know, well, you won't need to know, but it's very useful to know kind of when the wallet was created. So this is the block height of Zcash when the wallet was created. And so that way, when you're scanning to find your funds again, you're only scanning from a certain point. Otherwise, it's going to take you much longer to restore that fund. So we do have explainers throughout ZODL, so you can tap info buttons here to understand what's important about a seed phrase backup. So also, when you start ZODL for the first time, you will get some prompts here. One of them is to enable Tor protection. So as we discussed, we strongly recommend enabling Tor because it gives you network level privacy. You are connecting to remote light wallet servers, and there is a really great article on the threat model of a light wallet server if it turned adversarial. There's, in effect, very little that it can actually see about your wallets, but it will know where you're connecting from and the timing of your transaction that you might send. So even though you might be sending a shielded transaction and the amounts aren't revealed, the recipients aren't revealed, your address isn't on the blockchain, it will know the timing of when you send a transaction. And if that transaction crosses a pool boundary, so say it goes from Orchard to Ironwood, then it is going to reveal that amount. So then you're telling, if you don't have network level privacy, you're telling, hey, this is my IP address on this wallet user. Also, here's an amount that I just sent. So definitely recommend very strongly turning on Tor. You'll be prompted for it. It's not mandatory. There are places in the world, unfortunately, that restrict Tor. And so therefore, it's illegal even to run Tor. But you can also run a VPN that you trust, and that will give you some protection as well. So I'm just going to tap opt in there. So again, this is a clean wallet. I can receive. Now it's probably important that we cover the different address types that are in here, right? So at the top, you'll see your shielded address. And so if you're using a wallet with another person, another Zcash wallet, most Zcash wallets, thankfully, right now are shielded and ideally shielded first. ZODL takes that very seriously. It will strongly prompt you if you have transparent funds to shield them. And it will require that your funds are shielded before you even spend. So if you're working with another person who has a wallet, whether that's ZODL or something else, it's very likely that you can tap on the shielded address, provide that to them, and it's going to send shielded to them as well.
Neal, a question here that we have. Tor give us an extra layer of security or privacy?
The concepts are kind of intertwined, right? Because if you don't have privacy, you might not have security you might be identifiable, right? And therefore your personal, maybe even your physical security is potentially compromised in that IP addresses are very location based, right? So if you're revealing that, then maybe someone might know where to find you if they're very sophisticated, right? So Tor is meant for privacy. It gives you network level privacy. It obscures where you're sending from through multiple hops and layers through the Tor network. With a VPN, by contrast, you are trusting the VPN provider because you're connecting directly to that VPN provider. And so that VPN provider knows where you're coming from, IP address, even if you paid in crypto and don't have an email address associated with them. And there are great VPN providers out there that will have no logs, or they claim to have no logs, but there are ones out there with audits, and that if their servers get turned off, everything is held in memory, so it's wiped. So definitely do your due diligence, check out what you can trust. This is outside the control of any wallet. This is something that falls back to something you need to assure. So yep, if you're receiving Zcash or someone's paying you in Zcash, try the shielded address first. This includes now it's Ironwood receivers and also sapling receivers. So that was a prior pool. You can receive both depending on what your counterparty has. But now with the Ironwood migration, just to note, all your past addresses that were compatible with Orchard are working with Ironwood. So there was no address change. You don't have to worry about addresses you've given out beforehand. All the addresses that were produced here, you're going to receive directly into Ironwood. So no need to migrate in that case. There's also the transparent address. And so you notice we don't have a copy button here because we really would like to discourage people a little bit from using a transparent address without knowing exactly what is involved in that. So if you tap on the QR code, you can copy that address. And so this is generally the address that you would need to provide to an exchange because most exchanges only support transparent withdrawals. Gemini is great. They support, they tweeted out yesterday, we support Ironwood. Use ZODL, give us your shielded address. We will send you via Ironwood. They're the only exchange that I am aware of that supports shielded withdrawals.
Until now, Neal is the only exchange that supports shield address, right?
Correct. The only centralized exchange. So if we're talking about, say, decentralized exchanges like Near, which is what powers the swaps in ZODL, those send directly to your shielded address. So that's great. And we can jump into that, but I'm sure there's a few other things to cover. If there are any questions, certainly let me know. I'm going to jump to a wallet that I've already been using.
If you want to send me your money, I'll give you my address
Sure.
for the exercise live.
Please, we can do a tip jar here too. So, yes, here, let me just show you the send screen because that's the second half of receiving, right? On the send screen, you can very easily scan someone else's QR code, right? You also have an address book as well. So in the address book, you can store both Zcash addresses, and since we're sending Zcash here, only Zcash addresses are shown. But in the address book, because we support CrossPay, because we support paying into other coins via swaps, via Near, you can store USDC addresses, Bitcoin addresses, Litecoin addresses. And that makes it, we'll jump into this, but that makes it very easy to, let's say you have someone who you have not Zcash pilled yet, right? And you pay them regularly. Save their address in your address book. You'll always have assurance of that address in that way. And you can pay them directly via Zcash. And so your privacy is preserved and they get the currency that they want. And hopefully someday that'll be Zcash as well. But you can see I have a Keystone wallet attached here. We'll show that as well. But here's my other wallet. I tapped my Android wallet. And then here I can, of course, put a ZEC amount, or I can put a USD amount. And a really neat thing about Zcash is that we have encrypted memos. So you could say what a payment is for, and that user is going to be able to tap in to what they received and see a message up here. You can even put emojis in here. There's a limited amount of information, but you can be pretty descriptive. You can send love notes. If you see someone's shielded Zcash address on the, say, Twitter or something like that, then you can send them a hello or a nice note. You don't have to send, a significant amount. You can even send a zero amount with Zcash and just send a memo. But I'm just going to send this real quick, and this is 1 penny's worth to myself. And we'll get confirmation here, and I can show you also what it looks like when you're looking through your transaction history. So if I look at the transaction I just sent, it hasn't confirmed on the blockchain yet. It's still in sending. This is the amount, very small, but I can see who I sent it to because that's saved in my address book. It gives a name for it there. This transaction ID, if I need to, say, provide that to the other person just for proof, I can copy that there. And then, of course, see the message I just sent. I can easily send again if it's some repeat payment that I need to do. Or if I want to make a note for myself here. This is just personal. This is just on my wallet here. I can just make a note for what that payment was for. You can also,
Neil,
yeah,
excuse me. The difference between that note and private memo, the note is for the user, and the memo is between the transactions, right?
right. The note is just for myself. It's not going to appear to anyone else, but that
Okay.
message that I
Okay.
put in there can will be retrieved by the other party. So I just so you see it, I tapped the bookmark option up here. And so one thing you can do is for very important transactions and you want to refer to back again, if I look at my transaction history in this wallet, I can filter. And so if I tap this filter button right here, I can say, only show me the transactions that have been bookmarked, or show me the swaps that I've also bookmarked. And I can apply that and I can filter down to that individual transaction there. Now, this is a testing wallet, so I'm A-okay with showing you the transactions that have been through here. But if for some reason, say you wanted to send a screenshot to someone, or maybe you're out in public and you still want to send and receive Zcash, but you don't want to reveal your amount or your balances or what you've been doing in the wallet, we have a very convenient I button up here that you can just tap, and that's going to hide. I mean, it makes some screens pretty useless when you're not seeing anything, but it is definitely going to give you a lot of privacy when you're out and about, and you can still, of course, say what you want to send in there, but no one's going to see your full balance up there.
I think that this future is great because I'm freaking out about cameras in on the streets inside of my head, over my head, sorry. And I always think that camera is spying me.
Oh yeah.
Mm, could be. They are looking at our phones.
They are surprisingly high resolution. So if you're using a
Hmm.
passphrase or a PIN on your phone and you're entering that in public, and maybe you don't have like a privacy screen on your phone, you can get like screen protectors that obscure when you're looking at it at an angle. Those cameras are seeing your PINs. Um, and I'm sure they're recording audio too. So it's we got to reclaim privacy where we can. Transaction privacy, I think we got that down pat with Zcash, and we are scaling Zcash to billions of people. And I really think it's the answer to
Hmm.
this surveillance state that's growing up around us. Um, so that's the basics of send and receive, right? Um, Let me go back here. I showed you the activity list. Just briefly to when you tap into more and you go into settings, we do have some options here to you can export your private data. That is the file that is pretty revealing, but if you're technically inclined and you wanted to go through your database, you can do that. But this is also convenient in that you can export a spreadsheet of the past year's transactions. And so if you need to provide that to an accountant, if it's a business wallet, certainly, right, and personal wallet, and you have tax liability for your transactions, you can easily download that and send it to yourself, right? Um, so that pretty much covers that. I'll show you the address book here that I have some other addresses in, right? So I have a Solana address in here. I have one that's associated with Base. I have Litecoin. If you tap add new contact here, let's say I just met a new friend with a crypto wallet, I can scan their QR code pretty easily, and then just add that to my address book. I can also, maybe it's one of my own that's on this phone. I can paste the wallet address in there, give it a contact name, and you can see the chains here that are currently supported by ZODL and Near. And if it's a Bitcoin address, now you are sending Bitcoin privately, and we'll showcase that flow for CrossPay. So jump in if there are any other questions. I can just take a tour of the screen while I'm on here. We're in the main settings here. more, I will point out we have currency conversion. So previously in ZODL, we had just USD. And a few months ago, we came out with a very long requested feature of multiple fiat currencies out there, because obviously we want to be, billions of users for the entire world. And there are places that really could use sovereign private money. And so already there are quite a few fiat currencies in here. Not all the currencies. We will, please contact us if you have one that's not on this list. We would love to add it. But I can very easily say Swiss francs or Brazilian reais, and then jump into euros. That was very important to ship right before a conference in Berlin. They were very happy to see that you can now view currency in euros, and you'll see that at the very top. Now, this does contact a rates provider. So it contacts CoinMarketCap. And so one of the things that we recommend having Tor protection on for, and so just so you know where it is, it's in your main settings and then advanced settings. You can see Tor protection here. I don't have it enabled. I should have it enabled. I can just very easily tap that and then save it. And then CoinMarketCap, for instance, doesn't know the IP address that I'm connecting to. So that is, of course, another benefit of Tor protection here. So definitely want to make sure you tap save changes in here and don't back out when you want to save it. So while we're in the screen, please send us feedback. If you have any feedback about the wallet, good, bad, hopefully we earn the heart eyes here. But we love hearing from you, and it really helps shape the direction of the features that we add. Of course, if you have any issues too, like say an error message pops up, there is a report button. Tap that report button. It'll create an email with the details of it and pre-populate it with support@zodl.com. And that's how we'll get to know the error details, or if you have something general you'd like to relate to us, please use the send us feedback. And you can always see what's new in ZODL with the latest. So maybe I can cover Keystone Wallet real quick, and then we can jump into what I feel is probably the most exciting feature of ZODL, and that's the CrossPays and swaps that we enable. So if I tap up here, you can see that I have a Keystone wallet already connected. I can jump into that. A Keystone wallet is, Keystone have been really great partners. They have, well, they had a very special edition for Zashi back when we were Zashi. I hope they update that for ZODL. That might already be on their web store. But the Keystone wallet is a very nice light wallet. You can see it has a camera here and a fingerprint sensor. So the benefit of the camera is that you can keep this hardware wallet air-gapped. And so for those who might not be familiar with hardware wallets, they store your keys on a preferably air-gapped device, one that doesn't connect to the internet. So at no point does this connect to the internet. I can also make it so that I don't even connect it to USB in case I don't trust USB connections, right? And in that way, the way that I use it with ZODL is I can, first of all, we'll show you, when I'm in the Keystone flow, I can tap receive, and I can provide this address to anyone just as I would use with ZODL, right? It also has a transparent address. You can shield with it. But if I wanted to send, what I would do, and I can test it right here, I can send it to my main ZODL wallet, right? Let me send 0.001 Zcash. I can write an encrypted memo with it as well. But when I go to send this, what it asks me to do is to confirm with the Keystone. So right now, this is a pre-signed transaction payload, essentially, that gives me all the details of a transaction without it being signed by private keys. And so this hardware wallet stores a second wallet. So you don't put your ZODL recovery phrase on here. You create a separate wallet that will never touch an internet connected device. And so now with this, all I have to do is use the camera on the Keystone to scan the
This is
pre-signed
awesome.
transaction.
This is awesome. Neil, in this case, this is the first time that I see this wonderful feature. In this case, the mobile device is working like a bridge.
Right. So when you connect it, and I can show connecting here in just a moment, but when you connect the Keystone, on the Keystone, you show a QR code that has your public key, and then you import that into ZODL. So ZODL knows the public keys and how you'd be, it can see the transactions that go in and out. But the actual private key to spend funds from it are contained on the Keystone. So I just scanned it here. This might not be in focus for a little bit, but on the Keystone, I can review the transaction, so I know where it's going. I can see where the origin of funds are. And then if I slide here to the right, I can put obviously don't make a password that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but I can sign it on the Keystone. And then it's kind of like a hop between very dense QR codes. You can see this is changing quite a bit because it's giving a lot of information at once. I go back to ZODL here, and I want to get the signature. So this is the signed transaction from Keystone. I'm going to scan that QR back from Keystone. And it does take a little bit, but now we can see it's sending.
It's so fast.
And it's sent. Yeah. I mean, for something that is as secure as an air-gapped wallet, it is fast. It gives you a lot of assurance over the security of your keys. And then now I can see that that's outgoing from my Keystone. But if I hop back into ZODL, I can now see I'm receiving that from Keystone. So it sees that immediately, and it'll confirm here in a couple blockchain confirmation. Zcash blocks are 75 seconds, so that should come in soon. If you'd like to see connecting a Keystone, this is that new wallet that I made. If I tap on ZODL up here, I'm going to get an option to connect a hardware wallet. There is also a 5% discount on the Keystone store if you use promo code ZODL. So that's nice of them. I'm going to tap Connect Hardware Wallet here. Gives me some details about that. And when I'm ready to scan, I'm going to tap that. And then on the Keystone, what I'll do is, well, let me preface this first. If you get a Keystone, it will come with their default firmware. Their default firmware is one that's multi-coin, but it doesn't support shielded Zcash transactions. And ZODL only supports shielded transactions. So you do need a specific version of the Keystone firmware. Let me just share my screen real quick because I can show you that on our support portal. I'm going to go back here. It happens to be in the Ironwood, so we do have some articles on Keystone, but this is important for Ironwood too. We have an article for upgrading your Keystone for Ironwood. So this article here will link you to Keystone's instructions and where to download the Cypherpunk firmware. So when you first get a Keystone, the first thing you'll want to do is upgrade the firmware, but specifically change it to their Cypherpunk firmware. And if you want to maintain it air-gapped, you're just going to need a micro SD card. So you can either update via USB or you can update via a micro SD card that you insert into the Keystone. And that way it never touches USB, it never touches a computer. You can check the signatures on the firmware just to make sure, you know, as paranoid as you need to be, as secure as you need to be. You can do that with Keystone. So check out our support article on that. So just had a question I saw. Thanks for relaying that. Keystone right now is the only hardware wallet that ZODL connects to because it's the only hardware wallet that supports shielded transactions. And so I know some of the big names out there, like Ledger and Trezor, have been working on shielded support for a while. I think they're really moving forward with that faster today. And specifically, I think they were waiting for Ironwood, at least Ledger was, to make sure they support the latest pool. So as soon as they do, we will be happy to see them integrated into ZODL, because in particular, that is going to enable a lot more ZAC to be shielded. There's a lot of transparent ZAC out there on hardware wallets that people are just not confident with moving. They're already in their hardware wallet. They don't want to change. They like it. That's great. As soon as it supports shielded transactions, we want to see that be made easy. And so we'll look forward to supporting that in ZODL as well. So actually, just to get back real quick here to connecting, once I've upgraded that firmware, I tap in the upper right-hand corner and I tap Connect Software Wallet. And ZODL down here is at the bottom, and we're all used to scanning QR codes by now. When I tap it, I'm going to see the name now that's imported the public key, and I tap Next. Now this is something that we added so that if you already have an active Keystone device that already has transactions on it and balance, you can specify that as an active device, right? And so then you want to tell ZODL when you started using the Keystone so it knows where to start scanning from. So this one was probably around January of this year. So I'm going to select that, or I can enter the block height if I really know it, and click Next. Tells me that, so I can write it down. And I can tap Connect here, and it will scan. It will take a little while depending on how long it's been since you started using it. You want to connect this. You want to connect your phone to power and leave the screen on while it synchronizes. And the good news is we have some syncing improvements coming out, so look forward to that. The process here will be I'll leave it for others to say, but it will be faster. So
Neil, a
yes.
question again. Sorry, because this is sounds in my head. This future about the date. I don't know if you can repeat, but in the part when you put the date for the transactions with Keystone, this is for what? Is only for to have the historic transactions inside the Keystone. Is not for synchronization purpose.
So if you've already been using the Keystone wallet and you have a balance on there, ZODL will need to scan from the lightwallet server the details of those transactions.
Okay.
And they could be as old as when you started using the wallet, if you put funds in there then and just didn't move them, or they could be as recent as you just had them deposited. But you will need to sync and scan that, because otherwise, if you just connected it as a new device and it just started fresh and looking, it's only going to look forward. It's not going to see those the balance of Zcash from historically.
Great. Sometimes ago, I used to say ZODL is a basic wallet. Now, after this workshop, I will say this is advanced as wallet. This is a very great features that in my case I didn't know it. Thanks for sharing, because it's so great. My birthday is in October. I think one gift that I'll do by myself is a Keystone wallet. It's great. It's awesome.
Nice. Yeah,
It's
it
awesome.
makes it a great gift. I think it's priced really well. And if you have a certain amount of ZAC, then it really makes sense to ensure that that is as secure as can be. So I know it's taken us a little bit to get here, but this is probably the most exciting, part of ZODL, because it connects you to the wider crypto ecosystem. And I think There was a really great X post by Cypherpunk where they framed your Zcash wallet, maybe ZODL in particular, as home base, right? With the addition of a decentralized exchange like Near that we have integrated, Near intents have been fantastic. Very early on, they added sending to shielded addresses, right? So when you swap other coins into ZEC, that goes directly to your shielded address. So they've been really great proponents of Zcash in particular, and Zcash was first to be listed as far as DEXs go on Near. So they really pioneered that and opened up the door for us to have these two features that I want to show. So let's say you're new to Zcash and you're just entering the ecosystem and you want a really easy way to acquire it in a more private way. Maybe you don't want to send Bitcoin, you don't want to send it to an exchange and then swap it for Zcash and then withdraw that Zcash. That's also a lot of hops. If I tap swap in here, I can jump from many different coins, including Bitcoin up here. Stable coins are very popular as well. So we have USDC over a number of networks, USDT, Litecoin, Solana, Ethereum. If I have any of these assets, then I can easily convert those directly into shielded Zcash. So let me actually do that right now. I've got a USDC wallet pulled up with some funds on base. Let me see how much I have. Okay. Let's say I just want to do $15, get $15 of Zcash. I'm going to give it a refund address. And a refund address is me telling Near, the decentralized exchange, if anything should happen to this, where should we get the USDC back to? So this should be an address that I own. It can be the same address that those funds are coming from. So I'm going to choose one of my wallets here. And down here, I see how much Zcash that I'm going to get for that. There's also an option here for slippage tolerance. And so one thing that I'd like to clear up, because it's easy to conceive of this as I'm going to get a 2% hit on the USDC that I convert into Zcash, but that's not really the case. This is kind of a ceiling. So on a decentralized exchange, there are market makers. They're matching people that have Zcash with people that have USDC, and there will be some percentage that you're going to pay for that, but that tends to be very minimal. If you do take a look at some of the swaps that happen, that's generally on the order of 0.5 or I've seen 0.2, I think, percent. It's only rare that in maybe times of like market swings or there might not be a lot of liquidity on that coin, then you may see a little bit higher. So what this says is at most, I'm willing to take 2% off of what I send you. You can turn that downwards, but we don't recommend that because, if you say 1% and it's 1.1%, then that trade isn't going to go through. So you can set a custom amount here, but 2% generally is a really good value where you're going to see almost everything go through. And then if I tap here on get a quote, I'm going to see a breakdown of what I get for what I'm sending in USDC and what I'm getting in SEC in return. And if that is good to me, and I see the total fees down here, 7.5 cents, totally reasonable. I'm going to click confirm and I get a QR code. And if I have that wallet on this same phone, I can just click copy, right? And I can jump into that wallet. I've got another wallet up here, so I'm just going to send from that. I can scan this QR code and I can just check. Yep, same address. Going to click next. And now this is a important part. I want to send exactly the amount that it shows up here. There is some tolerance in here. There is some tolerance in that. Unfortunately, exchanges tend not to send exactly what you tell it to send. Sometimes they'll send a couple of cents short or a couple of Satoshi short or what have you. So there is some tolerance built in for that, just in case your exchange does that. Don't worry too much. It is going to give you mostly then what you asked for on here. It might take whatever portion of that is off that you undersent. So I'm going to tap. Yes.
Changing or adjusting that percent affect the speed of the transaction?
Of the swap, it could. It could if there's not enough market depth to fulfill the order at that percentage, there will be a point of time, a space of time in which it will just keep trying again. And so that then might take longer. The higher percentage, the more certain your swap is going to go through as soon as possible. So on my USDC wallet here, I'm going to click send. Done on that side. On this side, I can tap, I've sent funds. If I don't tap it, it's still going to go through because I sent the funds. What this button does, it just creates a record in my transaction history, saves those details. And if I tap into that, I'm going to see a summary of my swap. Now, because this is USDC on base, it's pretty quick. If this were Bitcoin, I might still see pending deposit on there because it's still going to wait to really see that confirm. But right now it's already processing because Near is seeing that. So actually here soon, we'll probably see, oh, wow, that was fast. I've got that Zcash coming in right now. And again, that went directly to my shielded address. So just to show you, what things look like on a block explorer, I can tap that transaction ID. If I go into a block explorer 3XPL, I personally really like because the interface is pretty clean. I'm going to paste that transaction ID in there. Actually, it doesn't look like it's gotten it. So the swap was faster than the block explorer can catch up with. Oh, there we go. Okay, refresh. So, all right, it's already got one confirmation. And if I look at the inputs and the outputs, so that's Near's address that is coming from. This first transparent address here, and I don't think we covered it, but transparent addresses start with T1, and a shielded address within a unified address starts with U1, U for unified. So that's the transparent address that goes back to Near, right? So that's the same amount. But here is the value that was just sent to me. And so that's in the Ironwood pool. It can't show an address here because the block explorer doesn't know the shielded address that it was sent to. Technically, there is a Near intents explorer. And so if you looked up this swap on Near intents, they broadcast the shielded address that it goes to. But each time there's a swap, we generate a unique shielded address for you. So that address is never actually shown again to you in the wallet. So there's no chance of you, say, posting that on X, and then someone can like correlate, oh, this user did this swap. We really make sure that we change up those addresses. And in fact, if I just went back to receive here, that address, if you rewind, that was shown there is totally different address. It's a new address every time, so you don't get correlated on public channels like that. So that swap, that's a really easy way of getting ZAC. You can do it in the reverse here, right? So you can say, I do have ZAC, right? And let's say I want to send 0.1 ZAC. Well, right now my ZAC is confirming, so I might not have that much. Yeah, it's all confirming. But once that's spendable, I'll see that up here. And then I can choose how much ZAC that I want to send to someone. But if you want to ensure that someone receives an exact amount of USDC, this isn't certain down here. They may, you get a quote for it, but it may be a little less, right? It might be right on the money. I want to make sure I send someone exactly the amount of USDC that they wanted. This is what CrossPay is for. So CrossPay, I can choose on this list. Let's say, again, I have a Bitcoiner friend, this Bitcoin maximalist, doesn't believe in encrypted Bitcoin yet, but is all for unencrypted Bitcoin, right? I can pay to their Bitcoin address. I can scan it. Let's say they have their Bitcoin wallet right here. I can just pull that up and scan it. And then I can say, okay, they want exactly 0.00125 Bitcoin. That's exactly what they wanted. And that's exactly what they're going to get with CrossPay. And so you can see this enabling a lot of things, like if you're on an online checkout, right? Bitrefill has a lot of gift cards out there that are very useful, even prepaid debit cards. But as of yet, they don't accept ZEC. So hopefully, but they do accept Bitcoin, they accept Litecoin, they accept USDC. I'm going to choose that again just because it's really quick. But I'll choose USDC on Solana. And if I'm at a merchant checkout, or maybe I'm sending to another wallet, I have a Solana address here. What I can do is I can scan that with ZODL. Now I've got the address in there. And since it's USDC, I don't want to send less than a penny, but let's say I wanted to pay them 5 USDC. I'm going to see how much ZEC that I'm going to send as part of that. I can see my spendable balance up here. And in case you're ever curious, you can tap that, and that's the deposit that I just got from the amount that's pending is what I just got from the swap. So that needs some more confirmations before I can spend it. But now I can tap on review and confirm that the address that I put in there is the same on my phone. Yep, it looks the same. I mean, spend more time than that when confirming addresses, but I want to send them exactly 5 USDC. I'm going to confirm. And then boom, that's sent just like any Zcash transaction. It is a Zcash transaction. It goes directly to Near. And I can check the status here. And so this is, you can see it says paying rather than swapping. And I see the status and the breakdown here. And very soon I'm going to see that in my own wallet. So I really think that this kind of, to underscore the point about Zcash as a home base, we're here because we like our privacy, for many reasons, but we are concerned about our privacy because we're losing it every day. So unfortunately, the rest of the crypto ecosystem is very painfully transparent.
Yeah.
And Zcash has been a good investment. It's a great investment. I'd be a true believer even if it wasn't. It was a stable coin for a long time. It was a joke. But I like saving in Zcash, and other people, I'm sure, like that too, because I know they retain their privacy. And then when I need to interact with the rest of the world that hasn't caught on yet, this is an extremely easy way of, let's say I want to receive Bitcoin. Someone wants to pay me in Bitcoin. It's not mine. It's theirs. They want to send it. I can just create a swap for that and have them send it to my swap. And then that becomes shielded Zcash right into my wallet.
I really want to add something, Neil, that with ZODL, we not only have SEC in our hands, we have, like you say, a lot of assets, okay? With this CrossPay, we have a lot of assets in our wallets. This is very, very great. It's so great because like you like you mentioned, in their ecosystem, there's a lot of maxis, and in this case, ZODL helps a lot. Definitely, definitely.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah. Your balance is not going to touch any chain. If you send to someone who really likes Bitcoin or just uses stable coins, they're not going to see your balance, but they just gave you their address. So yes, you're going to see their balances, and that's something you can point out to them too. Like, hey, I know I was happy to pay you in USDC or whatever,
Hmm.
but here's your address, and I just happen to look it up. You might want to know that that information is out there, and that here's a really cool way that I use to pay you, and maybe you don't have to put all your funds in Zcash, but
Yeah.
put the funds that you want to keep private in there and then use it as you wish.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a very great tour and explanation about Toddle. Let me see if we have more question on YouTube. We don't have more question because it's good to me because I want to stall 5 minutes more 5 minutes from you, Neil. This is by curiosity. I'm in Europe, okay, and this feature is not available here in Europe, but is available in US. I'm talking about Flexa. Can you explain a little bit about Flexa only for curiosity? Maybe next year when I visit US, I will use that feature.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you bringing that up. I did see something posted by them that they were adding locations in Europe. So I don't know the details of where those are yet, but at least in the US, it's a very easy way to feed yourself. You can get Chipotle burritos every day. Certain people, will tweet out what they spent it on. That's their choice. We're all about, what you choose to reveal to the world. But if you want to use your private funds to pay for a lot of cool things out there, you can. So when you tap on here, the three dot menu, more is where the settings were, but there's this option to pay with Flexa above there. So I've already logged into Flexa on here. If I hadn't, you would see a login screen where you just need to give an email address, your name, and your birthday. That's for their compliance purposes. It is certainly not as involved as, say, signing up for an exchange. So if you're comfortable with that, you can do that. And you can see down here some of the various locations. So Barnes and Noble, you can buy books through Barnes and Noble. You can buy Chipotle burritos or burrito bowls. GameStop, you can get games with. If you tap here, you can see a place to find places to pay. And I believe, yep, they have the whole list right here. So Regal Cinemas, if you wanted to go see the latest blockbuster, you can see which Regal Cinemas are near you that you can pay with. And some details about their business there. But yeah, you just ask. Basically, you would ask the cashier, like, "Hey, I need to pay by QR code." Some might not know what that is, but if they just scan it, usually it just works. Some of them will definitely know, or you can say, "Hey, I have a gift card," and they're familiar with that flow. And so when you're at that register and your burritos are, I don't know, extra meat, guacamole, maybe it's $14 now. You can tap in, well, maybe it's not 14 even, tap in 14.12, whatever the payment is for, and then that pops up. They'll scan it, and it'll be credit to your checkout. And if you don't use that, so that was what that did was it spent my Zcash, that much in Zcash for that, what is called a payment clip. And when that went away, I dismissed it. Now it's going to just go back to my balance on Flexa. So you do have so that just got added to my Flexa balance. I have a little bit of money in this account. And then I can just apply this anytime that I want to use it. Or if I want that back in Zcash, I can contact Flexa, and I believe they're able to give that back to you.
It's pretty easy.
It is, yeah. I bought some books. I've bought some burritos. I need to go to a movie at Regal Cinemas and pay with that as well.
Great, great. There's a question here in the YouTube chat. I don't know if is this a spoiler, but what do you think about that ZODL plan to add any other assets like Bitcoin or another chain, or definitely is a wallet only for Zcash?
It's a good question. I mean, our mission is to, with ZODL, get Zcash into the hands of billions of people. We are very firmly committed to Zcash being an enabler of a lot of things, as
Después de
we
esto
were
termino.
mentioning, against the surveillance state, reclaiming privacy. It would be, it wouldn't be maybe as much of a technical challenge as it is a communication challenge if there were to be assets in ZODL that weren't private. That's, a lot of the uh, guarantee that we can say when you use ZODL and you shield your funds and you're spending shielded funds, you have a very certain privacy guarantee with that. And to incorporate Bitcoin or other transparent coins really changes how we would have to communicate to users. And maybe that's a challenge worth pursuing. I know it would be convenient for people to have multi-coin wallets, but as we were just showing, with pay and swaps, you can really have Zcash just be your home base and interact with the rest of the ecosystem, Bitcoin or Ethereum or Solana or what have you. So we think that's the strongest selling point. And again, no plans, something to explore. What we want to hear is feedback. So, what's important to you as users of ZODL, that's surely what we want to get from you.
Thanks for that answer. I'm waiting. The only thing that I'm waiting for from Sodal is desktop app. Is is what I'm waiting. Because I think Sodal have a lot of great features, and what I discovered here today is awesome to me. Yeah, I'm very grateful for your time, Neil.
Oh, you're welcome.
Uh,
I hope you
Really.
won't have to wait long for that desktop app. So fingers crossed.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, we don't have any question here in the chat, but yeah, it's awesome. It's pretty easy. It's so complete. It's subtle. It's more powerful than I used to think. But now I really appreciate more the use of Zodl every day. It's my favorite wallet. I use other, yeah, but Zodl is my favorite. Yeah, thank you for your time. Thank you the community for being here. Be attentive for the next workshops in the next month. Thank you, Robmar, for your support in the technical part. And thank you, Neil, for your time again. One final question, and thank you.
Oh yeah, it's much appreciated. And thank you to the ZKAV Club.
Yeah, thank you. Bye bye, guys.
Have a good one.